My heart has always been a fragile thing. When it first started to beat, it was a lone daisy sprouting in a hostile land. Dry, cracked soil, sharp, choking thorns, little rain, and harsh winds. All its hard-fought growth was stunted and weak, but what else could be expected? By the time I had to move on, I was already in over my head. The techniques I'd learned to make it grow would surely kill it now, but so would leaving it alone. My only choice was to lock it away in a small, quiet cage. There, the sturdy walls could protect it and let it continue to beat. That prison of my own creation was kept shut tight under lock and key, but you still managed to break in. Your gentle rays of kindness were so appealing, and yet so terrifying. I moved towards them with great caution, slowly opening the cage's door with a lot of help from you. The outside world was still a harsh and dangerous place, but being at your side was a harbor in the storm. Now that my heart had room to beat, it began to grow again. Little by little, I reclaimed the progress that had been stolen from me, making up for all that lost time in the cage. Hard work and countless battles brought me to the crest of a hill, which appeared to be the pinnacle of what I could become. Far down behind me was the shallow, untilled valley I had fled. Climbing out of that pit had cost me many things, but the treasures I had gained were well worth the price. My armor was dented, and it still sparkled in the sun. I dared to hold my head high, to participate in a world I always assumed was so far beyond me. Those first steps were small, but powerful. This was a place I could belong. This was a world I could be a part of. But I was wrong. No one knew me like you did, and no one wanted to learn. I'd gotten too confident, too comfortable in my own skin that I forgot the truth. The wings at my back disappeared, and I was left to fall into the sea. All this time, I was so sure I was seeing the world in its proper hue, but everything was warped behind hope-tinted glasses. Open hands weren't meant to welcome, but keep at arm's length. Every cracked smile was paved over with cold, solid indifference. Before me lay everything as it truly was. All the good they could see in me had been attained through you. Without your light, I wouldn't have grown in the ways I did. Hidden behind your influence, there was only just my sad little heart. Fragile, weak, broken. In my fall, it was all I could do to hide in that cold cage once more. It was the only protection I knew. Within its walls, I wouldn't be lost in the currents. The water might rise, but I wouldn't be swept away. Tempting as it had been, I couldn't bring myself to close the door. The lock was heavy in my hands, and I didn't know if I had the strength to remove it again. Beyond the door, waiting in the empty darkness, there was only you. All the familiar faces had fled, burdening you with the task of coaxing me out, and you did it with a smile. You reached through the bars, cradling my most delicate self with endless tenderness. My pain couldn't be erased, but it could be shared. Sorrow has drained my strength. The armor I once wore with pride drags me down, and the hilltop I stood upon is now surrounded on all sides by mountains. Creeping shadows reach far, slipping through the cracks and testing my weaknesses. But they can't break through your hands. Your warmth is my shield, and your smile is my sun. All the harshest days and longest nights can't touch me when you hold me. When the lines between friend and foe blurred, you stood by me, ready and willing to mend the rift. You wanted both sides to prevail. So did I, but the tides were steadily turning. For them to win, it looked like my only option was to lose. So you took me into your hands and became my last defense when all seemed lost. Held to your heart, I bled, clutching a wound that neither of us could heal on our own. Time ticks by, and my heart grows weaker. The sturdy ground I once trod crumbles as it falls into the sea. This yawning chasm feels the same as the valley, yet it hurts so much more. Here I had thought I was safe, but the only true safety for me is in your hands, for it is the only place left where I can be me.